Hi guys, Bolt here once again with the 15th Infantry Scottish Battlegroup review. This will be really similar to my wargame deck reviews that I did, and all of a sudden everyone is doing those, which is quite fun to see. But yeah, let's jump straight into it. I'm just going to basically tell why I went for that unit and give you the pros and cons of it, I guess. Keep it nice and short, and yeah, this will kind of answer all of those people that keep asking me for deck reviews in multiplayer games, because it's not really a good way to get decks, because any deck can play good on any map. It just depends on how you use it, and I will just answer those questions with these videos so that you guys get the explanation behind them as well. It's kind of a, I don't know, it might be weird, but people, like, if you just copy a deck, import it, and just play with that, it's not going to help you, because you don't know what the deck is, built like, or what it's focusing on. So anyways, let's start with the recon tab. So I have 2 infantry recons in phase A, none in the other phases, because I feel like, actually I might just change that a little bit, but the reason why I went for all of them in phase A is because of the some of the transports you get, like the 3-card Recce gets the Humber Mark III, and you don't get that anywhere else. So you only get them in phase A. That's why I went for these Recce units and the Humber Mark IIIs in phase A. So 3 cards of those. 2-man squad, very good stealth and very high optics, so overall a good recon. And to top them off, I have the scouts in universal carriers. I think that's universal. And the scouts are a 5-man squad, very good stealth and very high optics as well. So they can hold their own a little bit better compared to the Recce. So the universal carrier has a 7.7mm machine gun, LMG, and the Humber Mark III actually has a 50mm cannon and a 7.92 machine gun, which is really good. It stuns the crap out of anything light, like especially infantry, and they can really deal a lot of damage in the beginning to stop like the advance of the enemy quickly. And in phase B we have the Daimler Little John. Kind of looks like the Humber Mark III, doesn't it? But it has a 40mm gun with 14 AP, which is really good, and 5 accuracy, 800 meters range. So do keep it in cover when you're not where you're not seeing anything, because enemy AT will outrange you by like 400 meters. So really good unit. 14 AP on that thing is absolutely crazy. Most tanks in this deck don't have like more than 11 AP, which is quite funny actually. But yeah, next to that you can get a lot of Daimler Little Johns and Daimler ACs. There's no real difference between the two, except the Daimler Little John does have a better accuracy, as you can see, 5 instead of 4, and pretty much the range is a little bit better as well. The AP is less for some reason. It's probably due to the barrel of this one being longer than this one or something. I'm not really a gun expert, but yeah, it depends on what you want to use it for. If you want the range, I would go for the Daimler AC. If you want the AP power and the accuracy, I would go for the Daimler Little John. Let's jump over to the infantry tab. Lots of infantry in this battle group, and most of them are like really veteraned up, as you can see. First of all, in phase A, you can get these units, and I've pretty much selected most of them and left out 1 or 2, but let's get started. So we have 4 squads of Bren groups. They come in the Bedfords, fast trucks, 80 kilometers on the road, and they disappear as soon as you unload your infantry to try to like in wargame, people just used to do like rushes with trucks and like keep your shit busy, and then just rush you up with something else, and that kind of prohibits that, because these trucks disappear as soon as you unload. So 4 of these, and I've put them on experienced. You cannot really select experience when you put them in your battle group, but you can choose those. So there's 1 card of rifles. These are experienced. You only get 4 of them, compared to regular rifles where you get 6 of them. So you kind of have to make some compromises. But I went for experienced Bren groups. These guys have 2 of those Bren rifles, the 7.7mm that fire at 400 meters range. Really good, and that extra accuracy, morale, rate of fire, and optics does help out big time. 6 regular rifles, good units, and if you actually check the difference between the two, if we just do this here, you can just see the differences. So the Bren group on the right, as you can see, has 2 of those Bren rifles, and the rifles on the left have just 1. Now that 1 extra Bren rifle makes a difference at longer ranges. As you can see, the range is 400 compared to those rifles. The regular rifles have 300 meters range with their 7.7mm rifles. So yeah, they do have more of them. So the rifles are better for CQC, and the brand groups are better for moderate ranges. To top them off, to help them out with some Vickers HMGs, I have put 4 of them in this deck, and they come in the Lloyd carriers, which is an open carrier, does not have any guns, so it's a, I would say it's a good overall makeshift recon. Plus, carriers that you have, any carrier, it can tow AT guns. So if you have an AT gun that you towed with one of these Bedfords, the Bedfords will disappear as soon as you unload it. You can assign these guys to that AT gun and actually be able to tow it quickly to wherever you want. To top it off, we have 3 rifle leaders, and these, with their experience, give, as you can see, it improves the resilience of and fighting abilities of nearby units, and have their experiences increased by 1 level, won't surrender, perform normally even when behind enemy lines, and receive only half the suppression. So really important units to have. So that was everything for Phase A. So 10, 14, 17 cards of infantry, and 10, 14 cards of fighting infantry. That should be enough, unless you're up against someone that uses a lot of flamethrowers. Then you might be, you might have to watch out. So Phase B, we have 8 Assault Pioneers, basically the same as rifles, but focusing on infantry. They have frag grenades that deal 22 HE power, which basically 1 or 2 hit kills infantry. So really good units, and they will blow anything out of a building as well. So Assault Pioneers, definitely put them in your deck, and I've also chosen the experienced units. You get 8 of them, which is crazy. Then we also again have the Bren group on experience, already went through that unit. Another 6 experienced rifles and 3 highly experienced rifle leaders. Now, you could wait for Phase C to get 12 rifles, and I might actually do that just to make sure. So I will have to delete something in this deck, and I'll probably go for like somewhere in artillery, but we'll go through that in a minute. So the tank tab, you get quite a lot of tanks in Phase A if you chose for it. You can get 6 of these honeys, but I've only put 1 card or 3 cards of them in this battle group. So 3 of these honeys, good, nice tank to use in the beginning. It kind of suppresses everything you want to, you know, in the beginning of the game when the enemy is like in a convoy moving down the road. You can quickly suppress them with this 1000-meter range gun, 7 AP, 4 accuracy. It's not the best, but it'll do its job. Next up in Phase B, we have the Churchills. We have 4 of these regular Churchills, 11 AP and 10 armor, which is really nice, and they can definitely hold their own. It's a good moderate tank, 140 points, kind of expensive, but if you compare it to other things, it's actually well priced. And that is pretty much the only one where we have a lot of. We have the Churchill, what is this? Let me see, 6, 7? I don't know, my Latin number things are not really that good. But we have this Command Churchill over here with 15 front armor, the same AP value as the as this Churchill. So a good tank to kind of top these guys off. As you can see, it kind of has an upgraded gun. It doesn't have a longer barrel. No, it does not. But it uses the same millimeter gun, but it probably maybe you actually, yeah. Why was I even talking about this? It has the same gun, so same AP value, but slightly better armor, 15 front armor. Actually, is it, yeah, 15 front armor, 10 side armor, and 7 rear armor, which is quite good for this tank. So, and I have 2 of those. And to top it off in Phase C, I did not go for the Shermans, and there is a reason for this. You only, well, you get 5 of them, but they have only 9 front armor. They will just get absolutely smashed to bits. Now, you're probably thinking, well, the Challies will get smashed to bits as well, but yeah, they have 16 AP on those guns. And it kind of depends on what you want to use it, I guess. I'm actually going to just delete one of these and put these Shermans in there to kind of just get the numbers instead of the quality. Get the quantity over the quality pretty much, and just try to keep the enemy busy with these Shermans and take out anything with the Challies. I'll see how that goes in battle. In the support tab, it's basically where you can get supplies and support units. I've put 10 supply trucks in this, and you will see why in a minute because of the huge amount of artillery that I got. I got 2 Churchills in Phase A. They have 9 front armor, but they have an HE gun. So if you're not seeing these numbers in the upper right, it means they're HE focused. And these guys have 13 HE firing at 1200 meters range, so really good unit to stun the enemy line and basically suppress everything before you move up. And in phase B we have the Crocodile, which is a napalm tank. Really good unit actually. 11 AP value on the gun, and it also has that flamethrower napalm thing that can fire at 260 meters range, which is really good. Let's go over to the anti-tank, and over here I might delete something to make some room for the extra infantry, but I'm actually thinking that I got plenty of infantry here, to be honest with you guys, so I'll just keep that the way it is. At anti-tank, I'm kind of compensating for the lack of AT units that I got, which are designated by this, by putting in 2 cards of Piats. These are specialized in tank killing. They have 200 meters range on that 83mm heat rocket with 6 AP and 6 accuracy, which will pretty much one-shot any tank if you're close enough and if you're firing from the side. And since you're firing from 200 meters range, you'll probably penetrate most enemy tanks from the side. So highly recommend using these guys. You can only get them in phase A, and I just went for 2 of them, and just, you don't need to use them in phase A. You can use them in phase B and C as well. It's available to you in phase A for the people that are new to the game. What else I got in phase A is the 6-pounders, 2 AT guns, 2 of them. Really good units, good at overall killing any. Well, they can probably kill like moderately armored tanks as well. Like if they have like 15 AP, a side shot will probably do, or you will have to be really close to the front, and then these guys won't have a problem taking them out. If you want something heavier, in phase B we have the 17-pounders, and the numbers kind of tell you that it's almost twice as good with 16 AP. It's probably more than twice as good, and 16 AP will be able to deal with pretty much anything on the battlefield. Really good AT guns with 6 accuracy on that 16 AP gun. Really nice. The 6-pounder has 5 accuracy, and the 17-pounder has 6 accuracy because of its longer barrel. What else we got in phase B are the Wolverines, the beautiful looking Wolverines. I've had a lot of fun with these guys. They are quick and they do a lot of damage. 13 AP on these tank destroyers, 8 front armor, which is actually quite good for a tank destroyer as well. And yeah, I've killed 2 Koning's Tigers, King Tigers, with this in 2 shots, believe it or not. So in phase C, I did not go with more Wolverines since we have good tanks in our tank tab anyways. And I went with 2 17-pounders on high experience. So these guys are regular, I would say like veteran. These guys are like kind of like elite, you could say, if you're a war gamer. And yeah, if it has 6 accuracy, well, 6 accuracy with this veterancy, they will just pretty much hit every time. Like maybe miss like 1 out of the, I would say like 8 times, which is really nice. So anti-air, really important in this deck. The British have a lot of good anti-air. The Tri-Polstons, definitely my favorite. They do a lot of damage, actually take down planes with ease. And I've put 4 of them in phase A. There's pretty much the only thing I went for in phase A. In phase B, we have Bofors. And I did not go with them in phase A since you get 3 of them in phase B. And that's kind of how Eugen has decided to balance this so that not everyone goes for like 3 Bofors in the beginning, which would be kind of destroy the gameplay a little bit. So 3 Bofors in phase B, and the difference between the Bofors and the Tri-Polston is definitely the rate of fire. The Tri-Polston will stun really quickly, and the Bofors will deal a lot of damage with those shots. It does say that the Bofors does 10 HE damage, but due to its range, it does more damage per minute, if that makes any sense. So actually, let me just remake that sentence. The Bofors will engage the plane faster, deal quite a lot of damage. If it's close enough, the Tri-Polstons will just stun the crap out of it and probably take it down. The Tri-Polstons really do a lot of damage. And kind of to have a mobile AA on the battlefield, I've chosen for 2 Crusader AA Mark 1s. Not used them yet on the battlefield, but yeah, I'm looking forward to try these guys. Otherwise, if they're not effective on the battlefield, I'll probably recommend going for like probably for like more Bofors, although like 3 of these guys should be enough. But yeah, let's go to artillery, where this deck is really important as well. So infantry, artillery, and tanks are going to be really important in this deck, like any other deck, but especially in this deck since you don't really have a lot of AT infantry and such, or really good tanks. In phase A, we have 2 of the 2-inch carriers. They've decreased the range of this in a recent patch from I think 1,000 to 700 meters, which is a understandable. It's only like a 5mm or 50mm tube, and yeah, that's actually a 50mm tube. So that is kind of relative to the other mortar pieces. It's kind of quite nice. So these are 81, and they fire at 1200, and 50 is actually good for 700 meters range. And keep an eye on these 3 icons over here. This one means it can fire smoke, and it also means that it can fire HE. Some of the artillery cannot fire smoke. I don't think we have those in the British tab. Yeah, everything here can pretty much fire smoke, so you're in luck. But yeah, 2 of those in phase A. We have put 4 25-pounders in phase B to basically stun the crap out of enemy AA, artillery, and whatnot. Basically stun the enemy lines before we move up. We've also gotten the off-map artillery. So this guy is basically a command vehicle. You need to move close to the enemy in order to use your it's an artillery observer. So if you're close enough to the enemy, you can click on like artillery and click on a place you want off-map artillery to rain down on, and it'll give you a nice volley. We've also so this one is the 140mm, and this one is the 203mm. So it's a heavier variant in phase C. And I've also went ahead and chose the priests, and I have 2 of those in phase C. So lots of artillery. I usually only use like a quarter or maybe a half of it, depends on what kind of game it is. If the enemy is just RDing me and standing still, I will pretty much do the same thing and wipe them out with the off-map artillery. We're almost there. The air tab, lots of fighters. I've went ahead and chose 2 Spitfire Mark 10s. I don't know, 2 Spitfires. I need to really learn these. In phase A, these guys are on experienced. That's pretty much the only one you can get. Like you can get the bomber variant of the Spitfire, but it has the same experience, but I'd rather have lots of fighters in phase A compared to bombers. In phase B, we have more fighters, more Spitfires. You got 3 of these guys. They're also experienced, so 5 fighters total. That should keep you covered pretty much throughout the entire game. We have Typhoons with medium rockets, good against like lightly armored vehicles, I would say, and moderate, like infantry. It's good against infantry, artillery, AA, AT guns, anything besides armored tanks. They will probably stun the tanks and make them fall back, but it won't really do any damage. If you want to do damage against enemy tanks, you can get the Typhoon ATs over here. I've put them in phase C. You get 2 of them, and these have anti-tank rockets. If you fire at a plane, or I mean a tank from the side, you will do a lot of damage and probably take it out. But yeah, that was my 15 Scottish infantry battle group. I'm just gonna save that. That was it for this one. Hopefully you all enjoyed and learned a little bit about the battle group system in this game. The code for this battle group is down in the description. Check it out. And as always, I will see you guys back in the next one.